Humanity's special forces thrived where no alien army dared to tread. The frozen plains of Arcus 6 were still as death, painted in shades of blue and white under the dim glow of two distant stars, an icy wasteland with a temperature plummeting to -120°C. Arcus 6 had claimed many lives of the Xylaxian Empire's best soldiers, who perished within minutes despite advanced thermal suits and technology. Alien Commander Crix Valthorn stood on the edge of a vast glacier, his elongated fingers clutching a datapad that displayed the latest readings from their lost squads. This mission had been deemed impossible even for the mighty Xylaxians, who prided themselves on thriving in the harshest environments across the galaxy. But today, Commander Valthorn wasn't here for Xylaxian forces. He was here for the ones they called the Earthborn, the humans. Legends whispered across the galaxy painted these Terrans as primitive, as lacking the advanced biosuits and tech enhancements that the Xylaxians wore like second skins. Yet somehow, those very humans had mastered places like Arcus 6. Valthorn's focus shifted as his datapad beeped. Commander Jack Stone's Arctic warfare specialists were inbound, clad in what Valthorn could only describe as outdated armor and minimal thermal shielding. These human soldiers approached like phantoms in the snow, their breath creating plumes of fog that rose in rhythmic clouds. Stone was the first to arrive, his broad frame and calm demeanor a stark contrast to the bitter cold that would have incapacitated Valthorn's own men. With a single wave, Stone called his team forward. They moved with practiced ease, their movements fluid, almost as if this deadly cold was merely an annoyance. Crix Valthorn's mandibles clicked together in curiosity. How were they able to endure this? His eyes narrowed as he caught snippets of conversation among the humans. They were laughing? One of Stone's soldiers chuckled. "Hey, Stone, remember last winter in the Yukon? This is almost warm." Another laughed, replying, "Feels like a summer's day compared to that." Commander Valthorn felt a chill, and not from the cold. This wasn't a unit forced to survive, they thrived here, turned the deadly conditions into a playground. "Commander Stone," Valthorn began, his voice echoing in the quiet cold, "is your species immune to the extremities of temperature? Your amusement is puzzling." Stone glanced over, his blue eyes steely yet somehow warm. "Not immune, Valthorn. We just don't let a bit of frostbite get in the way of a good time." 4 hours. Valthorn observed Stone's team conduct drills, secure locations, and gather samples without complaint, all the while bantering back and forth. He couldn't comprehend it. The concept of pushing through physical suffering with humor was utterly alien. When the exercises concluded, Valthorn approached Stone, his tone edged with awe. "Your kind's resilience defies reason, Commander Stone. Our species has long believed technology is the key to survival in such harshness, but you Terrans, how?" Stone grinned, a gesture that struck Valthorn as both endearing and unsettling. "It's simple, Valthorn. Technology's good, but the real weapon? Mindset, and maybe a bit of coffee." Before Valthorn could process the meaning of Stone's words, the ground beneath them rumbled. Deep below, the ice cracked and trembled, revealing a vein of molten lava seeping through the fractured glacier. Stone's expression remained unperturbed as he issued orders, his soldiers moving as if this scenario were routine. "This would send my men into chaos," Valthorn muttered, almost to himself. Stone merely shrugged. "For us, it's just another Tuesday." Back on the blistering sands of Denera 9, Lieutenant Maya Rodriguez led her team across the baking dunes, where temperatures soared past 55 degrees Celsius. Crix Valthorn, now trailing behind her team with a blend of bewilderment and dread, struggled to keep pace. He was fully shielded by Xylaxian cooling armor, yet felt as though he were walking through fire. But Maya's team? They moved swiftly and with purpose, scarcely breaking a sweat. Rodriguez stopped at the top of a sand dune, glancing back at Valthorn, whose breaths came in ragged gasps. She held out a water canister, a bemused smile on her sun-bronzed face. "Careful, Valthorn. Hydration is key out here." Valthorn looked at the canister, noting its simplicity. Surely, no mere bottle of water could maintain function under such extreme heat. But, then again, everything about these humans defied expectation. With her squad assembled, Rodriguez pulled down a bandana wrapped around her neck, looking over the endless desert. "Feels like home," she said with a hint of nostalgia. Another soldier stretched, then laughed. "Anyone else feel like we're just out on vacation?" Valthorn's bewilderment deepened. "This is one of the most hostile environments known in the Xylaxian archives," he blurted out. "You, vacation in places like this?" Maya shrugged, throwing him a wink. It's just the Earthling way. In the days that followed, Valthorn observed the humans navigate the extreme conditions of Denara 9 with expertise and ease. He noted every moment, every laugh, every unorthodox solution to problems that his scientists would have agonized over, and he began to understand the rumors about Earthlings, about their inexplicable fortitude. Their fearlessness wasn't the result of superior technology or armor, it was something that ran far deeper. The Xylaxian Empire had assumed themselves the strongest in the galaxy, but in the span of a few days, Commander Crix Valthorn was beginning to realize that strength wasn't about armor or shields, it was about something no technology could replicate, an indomitable spirit. Beneath the surface, Commander Crix Valthorn's shuttle descended through the turbulent skies above Gulter Prime's eastern oceans, where endless waves surged across a deep, midnight blue sea. But this wasn't an ordinary sea by Earth standards. Beneath its surface, Gulter Prime's oceans plunged to unfathomable depths, their pressures so intense that they crushed Xylaxian reconnaissance pods and rendered even their advanced tech inoperable. The ocean floor here lay a staggering 11,000 meters down, and only a few Xylaxian probes had ever managed to capture glimpses of it. Those probes, along with their operators, had all been lost within minutes. Yet, humans were there now. Captain Blake Hunter's deep-sea operations team. Valthorn adjusted his breathing apparatus as he prepared to meet them on the platform, his datapad displaying their last known coordinates. He had been briefed that these Earthborn divers had spent hours exploring the crushing depths that no Xylaxian technology could penetrate for even a fraction of that time. It sounded impossible, but today's mission was all about the impossible. The platform was slick with saltwater spray as Valthorn approached Hunter's team, who had just surfaced, pulling off their rugged, minimalistic dive gear with practiced efficiency. Captain Blake Hunter, a man with sun-bleached hair and an easy grin, looked up as Valthorn approached, wiping water from his brow. His demeanor was calm, relaxed, as though he'd just returned from a casual swim. "Commander Valthorn, nice of you to join us," Hunter greeted him, voice calm despite the harrowing depths he'd just conquered. Around him, the other divers shared grins and slapped each other's backs, sharing laughs and recounting the best parts of the dive. Valthorn stared in disbelief, glancing between the Earthborn team and the restless waves beyond. "Captain Hunter," he began, trying to mask his astonishment, "you've just returned from an environment that should have liquefied your bodies within minutes. How?" Hunter chuckled, as if he'd heard this question 1,000 times. "Just another day at the office, Commander. The trick is to respect the pressure but not to fear it." He gestured to the sea with a gloved hand. "The deep is unforgiving, sure, but that doesn't mean it's unbeatable." One of Hunter's divers, a young woman named Harper, grinned as she pulled off her mask. "Besides, the pressure's not so bad, just gotta roll with it. Makes a person feel grounded." The Xylaxian commander tilted his head, utterly baffled. Grounded? At a depth that would crush most beings? Hunter shrugged, his grin widening. "We humans like a challenge. You've seen that by now, right?" Over the next few hours, Valthorn watched as Hunter's team recounted their discoveries and shared insights on the alien fauna they'd encountered on the ocean floor. To Valthorn, it was as if they'd walked on a distant star, yet they joked about it, celebrated their exploration, and treated each grueling dive as though it were nothing out of the ordinary. They were explorers, fearless and tireless in their curiosity, and that fearlessness left Valthorn unsettled. Flames of fury. In the volcanic zones of the planet Xylox, molten rivers of magma carved fiery trails across the land. Heat radiated so intensely that even the Xylaxians' heat-dispersing armor struggled to withstand it for more than a few minutes. It was a battlefield deemed inhospitable, a literal hellscape where not even the strongest Xylaxian tech could endure for long. Yet, as Valthorn arrived, he found humans there. Sergeant Rex Thunder's team of Force Recon Marines was traversing the molten landscape with ease, laughing as they moved with steady, practiced steps across volcanic terrain. Volcanic ash and embers swirled around them as they hopped from rock to rock, navigating paths Valthorn's men would have never attempted. Some of them even carried surfboards strapped across their backs. Valthorn blinked, certain his eyes were deceiving him. "Sergeant Thunder," he called out, his voice laced with incredulity. "Surely you aren't surfing on lava flows?" Sergeant Thunder turned, his smile wide, his face streaked with ash and sweat. "Why not?" he shouted back, strapping his board to his feet. "It's like riding the waves, just hotter." Valthorn's heart raced as he watched Thunder launch himself down the side of a molten slope. skimming across the lava flow as if it were water. A cloud of smoke and sparks followed in his wake, yet Thunder's laughter echoed across the landscape, unbroken. The other Marines whooped and hollered in celebration, one by one taking turns to follow suit, leaving trails of flames and melted rock as they carved their way through the volcanic flow. The Xylaxian commander's mandibles clicked together in disbelief. He turned to one of the observing Xylaxian scientists. How is it possible? Even our heat-resistant alloys would struggle to withstand this temperature. The scientist shook his head, his eyes wide with shock. Commander, it appears they're using ordinary materials, earth metals and simple heat protection coatings, nothing close to our own thermal tech. Valthorn felt the realization settle within him. It wasn't their equipment that kept them alive, it was their will. Thunder, having finished his run, walked over, laughing as he undid his board. Commander, he said with an easy smile, the trick isn't all about the gear, it's about knowing your limits and pushing them a little each time. Valthorn struggled to comprehend it. Here were these Terrans, clad in what he considered primitive gear, standing amidst molten rock as if it were playground sand. Their laughter, their unshakable camaraderie, and their relentless determination were something no technology could mimic. And then, just as he was about to ask how they managed such a feat, Thunder's voice rang out to his men. All right, Marines, pack it up. Lava surfing's done for today, dinner's on me back at base. Heard they've got some decent coffee this time. The squad erupted in cheers as they moved out, leaving Valthorn standing alone on the edge of the volcanic river, trying to reconcile what he'd witnessed. Alien awe and existential reflection. Back aboard the Xylaxian flagship, Commander Crix Valthorn paced the observation deck, his mind racing. He'd spent the last few weeks studying these humans, these earthborn soldiers, across frozen plains, searing deserts, ocean depths, and burning volcanic flows. Every encounter had unraveled his understanding of what was possible. The Xylaxians had always prided themselves on their technology, their ability to conquer and adapt using devices far beyond anything humanity had developed. Yet the humans thrived without it, meeting hostile conditions with grit, humor, and camaraderie rather than relying on sophisticated tools and suits. Crix glanced over the data gathered by his scientists, detailing the physiology and performance of these Terrans. No genetic enhancement, no tech augmentation, no biological advantage explained their survival. They were, in nearly every measurable way, unremarkable by Xylaxian standards, and yet, they'd survived where no other species could. Lost in thought, Crix looked out at the stars. He realized now why so many in the Galactic Council whispered about Earthlings, why stories of human resilience and adaptability traveled like legends across the cosmos. The Xylaxian scientist beside him shifted nervously. Commander, he began hesitantly, if I may speak freely, do you think we could ever be like them? Crix stared into the distance, the memory of humans' laughter echoing in his mind. No, Doctor, he replied, voice low with reverence. They possess something we cannot replicate. Their strength isn't in their technology, it's in their spirit. He paused, a realization dawning on him with the gravity of a supernova. The Terrans don't just survive the impossible, they welcome it. They've mastered the one thing we cannot understand, and it's what makes them stronger than anything in this galaxy. Turning to face his crew, Valthorn spoke with newfound conviction. Record everything, and from this day forward, we shall approach Earthlings with caution and respect. With that, Commander Crix Valthorn walked away, leaving his crew deep in thought, their understanding of the universe forever altered by the indomitable resilience of humanity. Alien awe and existential reflection. Back aboard the Xylaxian flagship, Commander Crix Valthorn paced the observation deck, his mind racing. He'd spent the last few weeks studying these humans, these earthborn soldiers, across frozen plains, searing deserts, ocean depths, and burning volcanic flows. Every encounter had unraveled his understanding of what was possible. The Xylaxians had always prided themselves on their technology, their ability to conquer and adapt using devices far beyond anything humanity had developed. Yet the humans thrived without it, meeting hostile conditions with grit, humor, and camaraderie rather than relying on sophisticated tools and suits. Crix glanced over the data gathered by his scientists, detailing the physiology and performance of these Terrans. No genetic enhancement, no tech augmentation, no biological advantage explained their survival. They were, in nearly every measurable way, unremarkable by Xylaxian standards, and yet, they'd survived where no other species could. Lost in thought, Crix looked out at the stars. He realized now why so many in the Galactic Council whispered about Earthlings, why stories of human resilience and adaptability traveled like legends across the cosmos. The Xylaxian scientist beside him shifted nervously. "Commander," he began hesitantly, "if I may speak freely, do you think we could ever be like them?" Crix stared into the distance, the memory of humans' laughter echoing in his mind. "No, Doctor," he replied, voice low with reverence. "They possess something we cannot replicate. Their strength isn't in their technology, it's in their spirit." He paused, a realization dawning on him with the gravity of a supernova. The Terrans don't just survive the impossible, they welcome it. They've mastered the one thing we cannot understand, and it's what makes them stronger than anything in this galaxy. Turning to face his crew, Val Thorne spoke with newfound conviction. "Record everything, and from this day forward, we shall approach Earthlings with caution and respect." With that, Commander Crix Val Thorne walked away, leaving his crew deep in thought, their understanding of the universe forever altered by the indomitable resilience of humanity. Humanity's response. Within days, Earth's special forces arrived in Xylaxian space, armed with their unique blend of grit, humor, and unshakable resolve. Among them were Commander Jack Stone, Lieutenant Maya Rodriguez, Captain Blake Hunter, and Sergeant Rex Thunder, the same leaders Val Thorne had observed in action. Alongside their own, they brought scientists and engineers, their military mind matched with an insatiable curiosity and resilience. Val Thorne welcomed them at the Galactic Council's headquarters, briefing them on the Dark Veil anomaly. It was clear from the expressions on the Council's faces that they had little faith in the humans' ability to make a difference. The humans, however, listened quietly, their calm defying the Council's palpable anxiety. Commander Jack Stone leaned forward, his voice steady. "All right, we've faced plenty of impossible odds before. Give us everything you've got on this anomaly. We'll figure it out." A murmur spread through the Council as the humans began strategizing. Maya mapped out potential points of entry, Blake hypothesized containment techniques, and Rex proposed diversionary tactics. The Xylaxians watched in disbelief as the humans did what they did best. They improvised, creating plans that were both daring and completely out of the box. Finally, Val Thorne addressed the group. "There's one thing I don't understand," he said, his voice tinged with genuine curiosity. "Why are you so confident? You're facing a force of nature, something that's devoured stars. Our most sophisticated technology failed, yet you approach this with calm." Captain Blake Hunter chuckled. "We've got a saying, Val Thorne: improvise, adopt, overcome. For us, it's not about knowing we'll win, it's about knowing we'll do everything we can to find a way." Their confidence was contagious. Val Thorne, and even some of the Council members, felt a faint glimmer of hope spark within them. Into the Dark Veil, humanity's special forces split into teams, each led by one of the Earthborn commanders. They launched deep into the Dark Veil, using a mix of Earth technology and Xylaxian resources. The anomaly's dark matter caused massive gravitational distortions, making navigation almost impossible, Val Thorne observed, nervously tracking the humans' positions and monitoring their communications. Commander Jack Stone's Arctic team was the first to encounter problems. The temperature plummeted as they neared the anomaly's core, but Stone's team moved with practiced precision, even cracking jokes over the radio. "Feels like another day in the Arctic Circle," one of Stone's soldiers quipped, earning a few laughs from the team. On another front, Lieutenant Maya Rodriguez's team moved across an asteroid field buffeted by intense solar flares. Her desert warriors used makeshift shields to protect themselves from radiation, adapting in real time to the changing environment. Maya's calm instructions over the comms held her team steady, their movements synchronized and confident. Captain Blake Hunter's deep-sea divers navigated a dark matter whirlpool that twisted spacetime. Hunter's voice cut through the comms, sharp and commanding, guiding his divers to safety with a mix of determination and finesse. Meanwhile, Sergeant Rex Thunder and his Marines tackled volatile magnetic fields and plasma storms as if they were natural obstacles. Their banter and occasional laughter echoed through Val Thorne's communications, lightening the mood in the control room. Val Thorne shook his head in disbelief. They're actually laughing," he murmured. A Xylaxian scientist beside him nodded, equally shocked. "They seem to thrive in chaos, Commander. It's as if the impossible is a mere inconvenience." The final stand. After days of grueling maneuvers, the teams converged near the anomaly's center. The gravitational force threatened to pull them apart. but with combined effort and coordination, they stabilized their positions. Valthorn watched as they assembled a series of devices built from a fusion of Earth's adaptable engineering and Xylaxian technology, a containment field generator designed to halt the anomaly's spread. Yet just as they activated it, a violent tremor shook the core of the anomaly, sending a ripple that short-circuited Xylaxian tech. "Systems down," one of the engineers shouted. Valthorn's heart sank. They were finished. But before he could react, the humans sprang into action. Stone grabbed a coil of insulated wire, Hunter handed him a toolkit, and Maya scouted the system's broken components. In mere moments, they were jury-rigging solutions, using anything they had on hand: tape, spare wiring, and even a flask of coffee to create makeshift repairs. In the control room, Valthorn watched, stunned as the humans turned their simple tools into complex fixes. Against every scientific principle he knew, the humans' patchwork repairs were holding. At last, the containment field activated, and the anomaly's violent core began to slow. With a final push, the humans adjusted their makeshift components, stabilizing the field around the anomaly. The core's energy dissipated, and the gravitational pull ceased. Back in the control room, Valthorn and his Xylaxian team let out a collective sigh of relief. The council members stared, stunned and speechless. A new alliance. When the human teams returned to the flagship, they were greeted by Valthorn and the council, who stood in reverent silence. The humans, exhausted and battered, walked in with proud smiles. Valthorn approached Commander Jack Stone and his team leaders, bowing his head slightly, a rare gesture of respect in Xylaxian culture. "Thank you," Valthorn said, his voice low and sincere. "I could never have imagined that anyone could withstand, let alone neutralize, such a force. We owe our world to you." Stone shrugged, giving a casual grin. "Just another day, Valthorn, but we couldn't have done it without your tech and your people." A ripple of admiration passed through the council members. They had always viewed humanity with skepticism, but today, they had witnessed something that went beyond technology or power. "You Earthborn," Valthorn continued, "have a spirit that defies all logic. You taught us that strength is more than machinery or weaponry. It's the courage to face the unknown. The Xylaxian Empire will not forget this." As the humans prepared to leave, Valthorn couldn't resist one final question. "Commander Stone, tell me, if I may ask, what would you have done if you couldn't fix the containment field?" Stone smirked, his eyes twinkling with a spark of mischief. "Easy, we'd just come up with Plan B, and if that didn't work, well, there's always Plan C." The council members exchanged looks, realizing that Earth's greatest strength wasn't in their technology or even their adaptability. It was in their unwavering resolve to keep pushing, no matter the odds. Epilogue: Legacy of Humanity. Months later, the Galactic Council issued a directive for a new initiative, a Terran Advisory Unit. Human consultants were now to be called upon in all major crises, their unconventional insights and resilience seen as an invaluable asset to the galaxy. Stories of Earth's special forces spread through Xylaxian society like wildfire, reshaping cultural values and even shifting some long-held beliefs. And while the Xylaxians had initially looked down upon the humans, they now embraced the Terrans as invaluable allies, perhaps even a new model of strength. In the years to come, the Xylaxian Empire and humanity would stand side by side, united by the one thing they both valued: the relentless courage to face the unknown and the audacity to laugh in the face of impossible odds.